I did want to cover CLRO real quick, and then we'll bring 13 on and we'll talk a little bit more about Fermi. We can also break down some of the other movers if we want. First of all, YXT, glad we did have one of those China crazy movers yesterday. We said this was one of them that could end up doing that, and sure enough, it did. The big mover here today is CLRO. This is Clear One. This is an American company. It's not a Chinese company. This went higher yesterday in the after hours, took another leg higher today. Sure looks like 12 is a bit of resistance here for me. If we look back on the daily chart, you can see this stock is no stranger to popping, and it loves to give it back in fairly short order. So just kind of keep that in mind. Looking at the news feed here, it looks like they had an 8K yesterday in the after hours. That is likely what is driving this here. I went through this. It looks like it moved because they filed an 8K tied to the pending contingent merger, including a warrant cancellation and stockholder approval for a large share issuance that would create a change in control. The filing said TLDR 437,500 warrants were canceled. 12.5 million new shares were approved for issuance in connection with the merger. So that's from the 8K yesterday. Stock is up 198% here today. I do have some elevated short interest here, 16%, 1 day to cover. Float on this is a micro float. So they're trying to issue some new shares here. Let me ask you, what do you think about micro floats up several 100% in a pre-market? Is there a secret sauce? Is there a magic to trade in this? You were just telling me volatility is what we're looking for. What would we want to see here on CLRO?
Well, if there's a merger, I think it's tied to a price, right? If there's a merger.
Yeah, let me see if I have that here in my notes.
So the only thing I get nervous about with that is then there's people that know a lot more than I do that can make professional plays versus, but like if it was any other kind of news, that becomes very exciting, and then you're just trading it like a wave, you know?
So here you go. So the merger consideration is not tied to a fixed cash price per CLRO share. The transaction is a reverse merger style deal where Vivani and Contingent receive 12.5 million Clear One shares.
So they're acquiring companies, private companies or other public companies? I don't even know.
Yeah, this I believe is a private one.
Okay.
That they're acquiring here. The effective value per CLOR share depends on the financing, final share count, and the market pricing at closing. So we actually don't have a price for that yet.
Well, I was a part of a company that from the inside I saw was, in my opinion, a little bit overvalued in terms of how they were performing and the ability to grow. And we did a merger where we gave up stock to get two other companies that were really growth companies. We were just valued a lot higher.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that concept of a play where so it really depends on the other companies in terms of a fundamental play. Like sometimes like scooping up those companies that actually have a better growth trajectory makes your company more valuable and is exciting. I was talking to someone yesterday who's like, watch this company. If they pick up another privately held company, they're going to fly. They have the money. People are just waiting for them to find the right company. So sometimes it's like a new hope because you're shifting your bet from your existing company, which maybe hasn't been working as much, to here's some new reinforcements in the game that could really pop. So I don't know.
Yeah,
so I like that. I like it better that it's not a definitive merger price. There's unknown. Obviously, it's already up $7, but could it run more? Yeah. I mean, we saw that yesterday.
Yeah, we sure did.
I feel like there should be a disclaimer up the whole time, Ryan, for this trade at your own risk when we're talking about these stocks.
You have to. I will say that the group is well aware of that. These are all risky. We talk about them. We call them junkers a lot of the time. So it's very, very clear that there's a lot of risk inherent in some of this trading here. Real quickly, just looking at this, we are making lower highs here in the pre-market. This sets up a downtrend line that should be target number one if we are able to move higher here. Also, we have a kind of a steep trend line on the upside connecting the high from the after hours as well as the pre-market highs today. If we get stupid like we did yesterday with YXT, this also might represent a target there. So we'll keep an eye on those two trend lines there. Remember, micro float on this bad boy. So we'll see if this gets rolling here.